Hi, everyone. Dr. Frankie Bashan here, and I, of course, am happy to be here with you all. So I've got something exciting that I want to share with you, and we can't really celebrate yet, but I want you to hold this idea with me but I know I have to give you some background so you know what to hold, which is that I've been working on an amazing project, a docuseries for some time now that absolutely it's just, I'll say it's a passion project. And I've got a meeting in 4 weeks with a major network who's interested in it. So I want you, if you can, for those of you who support what I do, believe in what I do, and are inspired by what I'm doing, to send good vibes my way for success and for them to really be willing to take a risk on it. It's different than any programming that currently really exists today. And they would have to believe that what I'm capturing in this documentary is something that will speak to their viewers and bring something valuable and meaningful to the current programming. So please send good vibes and success my way, because I need all of those vibes to make it happen. I've made everything happen so far with your support, and I know I can't do it on my own. So I'm so grateful to you all. And I know there's a lot of just collective power in our channeling good energy and positivity my way. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for supporting me. If you're new to my channel, thanks for being here. I hope you get something really meaningful from what I share here, covering all different topics related to interpersonal relationships, sex and dating, romance, all that good stuff. The things that really matter in life. That's what I like to talk about here. So thanks for being here with me today. And thanks for holding that with me. So today I'm going to talk about how to make her come every time. I'm going to share some tips about female orgasm, and hopefully it sheds some light on things that seem mysterious to us sometimes, and so that we can be more successful in creating opportunities for pleasure and excitement. For many generations, the female orgasm was a mysterious, almost mythical concept. Even some medical professionals would claim confidently that the female orgasm didn't actually exist or couldn't be proven. People with vulvas do, of course, have orgasms, sometimes multiple orgasms of different kinds, even. And you can become an expert at giving them to yourself and others. And there are a few tips and ideas that I'm going to share with you today that'll help you become pretty savvy. Except you may not make her come every time. And this may sound defeatist and counterintuitive, but hear me out here. Our bodies are all incredibly complex and incredibly different. In the same way that some of us can scale Everest and some of us need mobility aids to get up the stairs, everyone's relationship to sex and orgasming is going to be different. For some people, having an orgasm is a matter of being touched in the right way, in the right rhythm. And then for others, orgasming may feel frustratingly impossible, even after hours of dedicated effort, and sometimes even high-powered sex toys. For the person in the latter category, orgasms may just not be easily accessible or even possible. And continuing to place major emphasis on orgasms as the only point of a sexual experience, either from their own perspective or partners, can quickly make sex a slog that ends in feeling like a failure every time. If you're watching this video because orgasms have been difficult or impossible for you or your partner, remember that the goal isn't to make sure an orgasm happens, come hell or high water. The point is for both of you to have fun and feel good while having sex. If pursuing an orgasm means that it's less likely to happen, then it may not be a helpful goal to pursue. And paradoxically, feeling less pressure to orgasm may make sex more approachable. So it's more likely to actually happen. It takes the pressure off. The clitoris and the G-spot, right now I'm going to explain some things to consider. The vulva is made up of a variety of different kinds of incredibly sensitive tissue. If someone is turned on and having fun touching their vulva and can feel amazing almost anywhere, some people love having the outer or inner lips of their vulva stimulated or receiving long, slow licks up and down the entire length of the vulva. It always pays off to ask someone what they like or ask them to show you themselves. Keep in mind, there are a few areas that consistently offer very intense sensation and that are usually associated with orgasms for people with vulvas. The clitoris. The clitoris is a structure of erectile tissue at the top of the vulva that often provides intense sexual pleasure when stimulated. The portion of the clitoris that's visible outside the body is small, but the size of a pea, though it may be smaller or larger for individual bodies. Like I said earlier, everybody's different and the size varies. This is the part of the organ people are most often referring to when they talk about the clitoris. And it's common to stimulate it during sex or masturbation with fingers, a tongue, or a toy. The clitoris, believe it or not, has over 8,000 nerve endings, making it extremely sensitive. This is why you want to be mindful and not put too much pressure with sex toys like vibrating in that area, because it can kind of put them to sleep over time. An interesting fact about the clitoris is that it is a much larger organ than what you see on the outside of the body. It extends within the body like the bulk of an iceberg underneath the water. I mean, it's pretty wild. This means that applying pressure to the rest of the vulva also stimulates the clitoris, not just rubbing the part that's visible. The clitoris is an analogous organ to the penis. If the visible part of the clitoris is comparable to the sensitive head of the penis, the part of the clitoris on the interior of the body is comparable to the shaft. For people who find direct stimulation of the clitoris too intense or uncomfortable, stimulating the tissue on either side of it or elsewhere along the vulva can feel much better. So basically, that whole area, there's so much sensation to be had, and the clit is just the tip of the iceberg. Next, the G-spot. The G-spot's also an area of sensitive tissue that can be associated with orgasms for people with vulvas, but this one is located inside the vaginal canal. You can find it about 2 to 3 inches inside the canal along the top of the vagina. This is easier to do when one is already aroused. The tissue of the G-spot may feel different than the surrounding tissue inside the vagina, like slightly swollen, softer, more giving or spongy, more textured. Not everyone reports being able to have orgasms from the G-spot stimulation alone, but some can. Some people say G-spot stimulation along with clitoral stimulation makes their orgasms even stronger and more intense. The G-spot can be stimulated by shallowly penetrating someone with fingers and making a come hither sensation, as if calling or emotion, as if calling someone forward, come hither. By dildos with a slight upward curve or angle can also stimulate this area, or by toys specifically designed to stimulate the G-spot that are usually curved. Next, what do I always say? Communicate, communicate, communicate. The real expert, of course, on making your partner come is your partner. Ask your partner to show you how they masturbate, either with their hand or toys. Encourage them to give you clear feedback and instructions, or even use their hand over yours to show you what feels best. And maybe they don't masturbate. And if they don't, ask them to start exploring themselves and figure out how to guide you. Pay attention to the experience your partner is having during sex, including their nonverbal cues. There's a lot of those. When do they moan? And when do they go quiet? When do they seem deeply present? And when are they a little dissociated or dreamy? Taking things slowly and mindfully and letting yourself really notice the way your partner feels and reacts in each moment is a much better strategy than trying everything you can think of to make your partner come as fast as possible, like you're trying to rack up a pinball high score. Next, clitoral stimulation, oral and toys. While some people can orgasm from vaginal penetration or G-spot stimulation, or even anal sex or nipple play, most people with vulvas need clitoral stimulation of some kind to orgasm. There's no need to rush to clitoral stimulation right away. This can be uncomfortable and overly intense for many people without sufficient foreplay. But when you get to a point in the night when you want to focus on an orgasm, the clit is where your focus should generally be. This can look a myriad of different ways, and I'm going to explain to you some of those ways, but they're not limited to these ways. Rubbing your clit with your fingers, or their clit with your fingers, rubbing or applying pressure to the tissue around or on either side of the clit, licking or sucking the clit, maybe in combination with penetration, inviting your partner to use a toy like a vibrator or air suction toy on their clit while you penetrate them, stimulating their clit with your body. like using the scissoring technique or dry humping. Clitoral stimulation can be incredibly intense, which is why finding out what kind of stimulation feels good to your partner specifically is crucial. A sensation that makes one orgasm or one person orgasm every time might be really uncomfortable for another person. Experiment and notice what your partner reacts to. Invite their feedback and ask what felt best to them after you're done. If you also have a vulva, you can ask them to show you how they like to feel on your own body. How to overcome orgasm difficulties. Some people may have tried everything on this list and they still feel like an orgasm is out of reach or like they can only have one sporadically. It can feel frustrating and like you're failing at something when you or your partner can't orgasm when they want to. There's no requirement to orgasm to have good sex. If you and your partner are both having a good time and you're enjoying the sex you have, you don't need to prioritize an orgasm. But if it's something you do want, you aren't out of options. And I know how hard it is to not prioritize an orgasm, but think about, ask yourself the question, is it serving you to do that if it's feeling hard to get there? Enjoy the journey, even if the destination, right, that expectation isn't happening, let it go. The expectation of orgasm, that is. It's almost never a bad idea to slow down if you're having trouble orgasming. Taking longer, sometimes much longer, on foreplay and on activities that aren't centered directly around trying to orgasm can help it make things so much easier. And also, maybe you will come once you take that pressure off. It's also possible that you might just need more or long stimulation. If you've been giving up on coming after 15 minutes of stimulation, it might be because you need 45 or more, which is completely normal. For many people, their ability to orgasm can be impacted by their psychological or their emotional state. If you or your partner tend to get very in your head or overthink during sex, having an orgasm can be more difficult. It's just kind of factual. For others, especially those of us with a trauma history and are people who tend to dissociate, it can be difficult to be in your body enough to actually have an orgasm. Working on mindfulness and being present in your body through exercise, meditation, or therapy can make a big difference, as can addressing any untreated anxiety or stress disorders. If you're still struggling to orgasm, it can be helpful to reach out to a sex therapist or other dedicated professionals to get more support in working on the issue. If your struggles to orgasm feel solidly physiological, or you're feeling pain or discomfort during sex, let your doctor and your OBGYN know. They have recommendations for you. There are interventions that they can utilize that actually can resolve many of the issues. So definitely confide in somebody. Find somebody that you can trust. And also consider a pelvic floor physical therapist who might be able to help you. They have all, again, interventions that really can support around sex and pleasure and enjoyment. So thanks, y'all, for being here with me. And of course, I'll be here for you, with you next week. And thank you for being you. And I'm sending you kisses, hugs. I'll see you next time.